to our pod. And by that, I mean on Wednesdays we read. I'm Hannah.
I'm Laura.
And we are two best friends who are doing a deep dive into a new book series, one book at a time. Right now, we are shiting on the Wheel of Time, and we're closing out our discussion of, oh my God,
Lord of Chaos.
Thank you. I just blanked.
There's so many books you forgot.
I forgot which one we were on.
Yeah, you forgot what one we were on.
Yes, we are finishing up Lord of Chaos.
I could have said A Memory of Light, and we could have just finished this up.
That's exactly. I would have definitely not caught on to that, Laura. Oh, you really tricked me on that one.
Wrapping this up fast.
Oh, God.
That would have been rather sneaky of me. Next week, Dune.
Oh, God, no. No.
Join us next week for Frank Herbert's Dune.
Over my dead body. But right now we're finishing up Lord of Chaos, and we will be discussing the Women in the Wheel of Time series. But Laura, before that, what are you reading, watching, and or enjoying?
I watched Iron Man 2.
Oh, you did not like it. I'm calling it now.
It was okay.
Okay.
It was better than Iron Man, the first one. That one was the worst. This one was better. I still don't see the chemistry between Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow.
I think at some point you get Stockholm syndrome and you're just like, I guess this is what they want. Like, I think that's honestly what happens.
It makes no sense. They just don't work together. But I think this movie overall was much better. I didn't feel like it was one that I'm like, okay, I could have written this. But so that's definitely good. But yeah, I think overall I'm ready to move on to something not Iron Man. Like the next one in my timeline is Thor. So
Ooh.
I'm ready for that.
It's not my favorite.
Better or worse than Iron Man? Am I moving up or down?
I don't know. I can't.
That's
can't
not promising, Hannah.
I've honestly just seen the movies and like heard so much about the movies over my lifetime that I can't give an appropriate response other than Thor. Every time I watch it, I feel like I just left a fever dream. Like for the first 20 minutes of it, I'm just like, wait, what's happening? And then the last of it, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. But then all I can think about is like, what was the first 20 minutes about?
Oh gosh, this is not promising. This means I'm going to have Wikipedia up the whole time, doesn't it?
No, I think you'll be fine. Maybe it's just me. I think Thor movies just aren't quite my taste. Okay. I really liked Loki on Disney Plus. Loki was great, but you're not going to get there for another like year.
That's a long ways away.
It is a long ways away, especially when you're going this slowly. I feel like you need to like watch one movie a week and just give us that promise.
I can't make that promise because
I know.
I just want to do it at a slow pace because
I get it.
I will get very burnout on Iron Man.
I get it. That's fine.
Are you reading there's also good? Like a zillion Avengers movies.
There's 4, aren't there?
That's a lot.
I mean, yes, but it is also, again, it's been around for what, 20 years?
Maybe. I mean, quite a while.
Well, the first movie came out in 2008, but we're still dealing with like a long expanse of time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm glad your husband didn't make you watch the Hulk movies because that would have just turned you off for good.
I will not watch those.
Yeah,
but
you don't have to. I watched one of them.
Just doing what's on Disney Plus, guys. That's all that's happening.
I watched the one where the evil guy was the love interest from Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay.
And I'm glad I don't remember much of that movie other than it starred the guy from Sweet Home Alabama. No,
I thought you meant Sweet Home Alabama. That's all you were glad you. That miscommunication is funnier.
No, that is funnier. No, I actually can't unremember Sweet Home Alabama because
he says because I can kiss you anytime I want, and that is bothersome.
Okay, yeah, that is incredibly bothersome.
Like,
but
that's not how it works.
My mom once went through a 2-month period, I think when my cousin moved in with us at first. So like life was just crazy in general, where every day she watched Sweet Home Alabama when we came home from school.
Oh my Lord.
And when I tell you it's every day, it was every day for weeks. And it was so ingrained in my mind that we had to do a movie scene for speech class when I was in high school. And I just chose Sweet Home Alabama because I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. she was not in a good place. It's like the when the
it was her feel good movie.
Yeah, it was like when the Christmas Prince came out on Netflix, tweeted like, to the person who's watched the Christmas Prince 60 times in the past 3 weeks, who hurt you? So it was definitely her comfort movie, but Sweet Home Alabama is now ingrained in my head. And
there's just something about though, like watching the same thing over and over, even if you've seen it a million times, just because there's that comfort of knowing what's going to happen and hearing those same voices. This is how I get watching The Office or Parks and Rec. I've seen them so many times that I can leave the room and come back, or I can do something else. And it's just comforting to have that noise in the background and to be having that on.
I actually just saw something. I'm not sure if it was an article or a tweet or a story, so I could be wrong, but it was like, yeah, the people who rewatch shows the most are women with anxiety disorders. I mean, so I think that it tracks. Yeah. Raise your hand. Present and reporting for duty there.
Hear me that episode of The Office.
Oh, that's amazing. Are you reading anything good?
Okay, so I read Mexican Gothic. It was a long wait to get that from the library. And so I finally got it. And I was like, okay, I can either put this off for a couple of weeks and get it later, or I can just read it now. And I decided to read it now because I debated like, oh, wait till spooky season to read it. But I'm like, close enough. Don't be one of those people, Laura. So
when does spooky season start, Laura?
For me?
Yeah.
End of September.
Okay.
I didn't know if you were like a month and a half in the middle of it. Other people are already in the middle of it.
Fair.
I have a cousin who already got out her Halloween decorations. She's
what?
I'm telling you, she is hardcore. She loves Halloween. She has all the skeletons and the cobwebs and all that stuff. Like she goes all out. Her decorations look amazing. I'm pretty sure she likes Halloween more than Christmas.
People do. Some people do. I don't like either. But
I mean, that's fair. Me. Some people just don't like holidays in general. But I prefer Christmas, but I don't know. I guess I just don't get into like the spooky stuff as much, you know?
Yeah. I could take or leave Halloween. I don't celebrate it.
I really enjoy the candy.
In college, I made it a point to only like try the easiest costumes ever on Halloween. Yeah. So yeah, I once wore a trash bag, guys. So that was a Halloween.
If there were like adult Halloween parties that were actually like witty and clever in this area, I would go to those. Most of the Halloween parties around here, it's just like people getting trashed and there's no fun about it. So I'm not too into that. But if there was like actual fun costume type thing that you got to nerd out and that type of thing, I would be all about it. But I don't have that opportunity where I live. So
you should throw one.
I would, but who would I invite?
Make a haunted house in the barn.
This is my lonely life, Hannah. I have
you can invite friends out to like a little.
I have 2 friends. My other friend probably is a little busy right now. She just had a baby, so
that is very fair.
Although babies do have really unique Halloween costume opportunities, so just throwing that out there.
I hope she gets her.
All of our listeners with babies,
all the baby people.
But
you liked Mexican Gothic. Yes.
I was gonna wait for spooky season. Read it now. I liked it. I think the criticisms of it were all valid. That people were a little upset that it wasn't enough horror, and that they didn't think the twist was good enough. I thought the twist was fine for what it was, and I think that the author kind of made it a little unique, did a little research and made it sciencey. And I think that it was just too bland for some people, I think, as far as wanting a very horrific tale and not getting quite that. The thing I had an issue with was a possible consent issue in the book. So that was the issue for me. Overall, I found it enjoyable, but I'm not a big fan of when things are iffy as far as was that a consensual thing that happened there, or was what was going on. I'm not big on that.
I hate to see that. I mean,
and
obviously,
a lot
we
of
just
times that happens in horror, I think.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate, but yeah, that was my issue with it. And overall, I thought it was pretty good, but I understand the criticisms of it. So if you're really into horror and wanting something super scary, probably not your go-to. But for somebody like me who's like, ooh, I don't know, spooky season, I
spooky.
I don't get out creepy Halloween decorations because I'm a wimp. You could probably read Mexican Gothic.
I could.
Anybody that is on my level of spooky season, I guess, could.
Okay. Well, I'm like even less of a spooky person than you.
You could probably handle this, Hannah.
I'm sure I will. I do know that our friend Ronnie reads regularly did not like the novel.
Yeah.
So she was not a fan. So if you want to see some juxtaposition, you could always go on over to her Instagram and look
does
at
she have
her
a review
of it. I think so. I believe she would have had a review up. So go read that. And even if she didn't,
I'm interested in that.
Throw her a follow.
I gave it like 3.5.
That's good. I think it's hard. You're right. Horror is so hard. And sometimes the consent issues, a lot of people use that. And that is kind of the problem is horror is often like when it's sexualized, the consent issues come out. Yes. And like, but that's often, it's like you and I were talking about it. I did not like certain parts of it because of the consent issues. Yeah. So I do think that that's rampant in horror. I will likely not read Mexican Gothic. Horror genre is not my thing, but and with the mixed reviews, it's just like so many other books to read.
That I think is fair. What have you been watching or reading?
So like I'm having a week where I don't know what I've been spending my time on, but it hasn't been anything productive. Tell you that much. So I haven't gotten very far into it. I started Quit Like a Woman, The Radical Choice to Not Drink in a Culture Obsessed with Alcohol by Holly Whitaker. It's a topic that's close to me. I've had alcohol use issues in the past, as Laura knows, and my family has it in their history. And so it's an interesting take on like a feminist look at drinking alcohol. It talks about how women have the highest spike in alcohol abuse. It's higher than men right now. We're going up in skyrocketing rates. Like it talks about the culture where we live in, how alcohol is very prevalent in the culture. And then it talks about her own journey with whether or not she wanted to identify as an alcoholic, if Alcoholics Anonymous is like effective when it was created for men by men, and like is it helpful for women? Women are a little bit more thoughtful about some things and not as thoughtful about other things, you know. And so it's a very interesting read. I would say it's very it's a hard read for me because I'm pretty protective over a lot of the ideas. Like, you know, she's not telling people not to drink alcohol, but to recognize, she is kind of telling people not to drink alcohol because she talks about how it is made from ethanol. Like it's very, you know, and the fact that we just use it from day to day. She really espouses the idea that we need to rethink our thoughts on it. Like we need to stop saying someone who's an alcoholic is someone who can't handle alcohol, because then it's putting the onus on the person and not the fact that alcohol in and of itself is an addictive substance.
Sure.
So it's like people just know cigarettes are bad. Right. And we need to have the same kind of thought process for alcohol because it's just as bad for us. And there are ideas that are interesting and make you rethink your relationship with alcohol if you might have some issues with that. And if you don't, I think it gains perspective on people who judge others for imbibing too much. But I would say if people just want to read this to judge alcoholics, don't do that. Because I don't know. I just think, like I said, it runs rampant in my family. So I'm very thoughtful about this kind of stuff and pretty protective over the topic. So I think it's a hard topic, but it's an important one to have. And especially with all the jokes about how much millennials drink, you know, like we're both millennials, and it like college was pretty crazy for us. And I feel like it's still like the wine culture and the drinking culture, you know? So I think if there's one thing I don't want to do, I don't want millennials blamed for another thing in the world. But I do think it's helpful to ask questions like the ones she's asking. So it's interesting.
We'll blame them.
Yes, let's do that instead. I'm fully on board with that.
I'm just kidding.
I know, so am I. I'm very much joking, guys. We as a society need to just fix things. But
I have
I
a
will say
question on that book. So, as far as like, how deep does the author get as far as the culture surrounding alcohol and how people are with drinking?
well, again, I'm only 80 pages in.
Okay.
And it is 300 pages long.
Oh,
but
okay.
The beginning is very much about like how it was a little bit too sciencey for what I feel like she should have gotten into the science of it a little bit further. I think sometimes it's easier to do with this. It's easier to read about the socioeconomical things or like sociology or the culture. I think it's so much easier to talk about that first and then get into the more sciencey thing like alcohol is ethanol. Cause like hearing that right out, I'm just like, okay, but I get it. But also, I don't know. That's just, it seems a little too straightforward at the beginning. Not to say spoon feed me, but I
also
just had
like who likes chemistry? So no one.
Right. And so I just wasn't as interested. But then it talks about like the history of alcohol use and like how it started like being pushed into like the women's spheres, but that was more like earlier stuff. And now I'm to her own journey. And then I think we'll get to the more culture, but she does talk a lot about how like, a culture with alcohol is it's expected to be everywhere. Like you go to everything and it's there. You go out for drinks with friends. Like it's very imbibed into what we do. And like, again, I'm not saying no one should drink alcohol. Drink responsibly, people. It's your business. I'm not judging anyone's alcohol intake. Just make sure you're being healthy for you. And so it talks a lot about that kind of stuff. And she also talks about like when she first stopped drinking, she didn't use the term alcoholic, and people kind of were not very supportive, didn't want to talk about her alcohol use, didn't want to show like support her. But then when she started calling herself an alcoholic, everyone was quick to make sure that they supported her and never asked her to drink alcohol. So it's almost like you need to use the term in order to have people respect you not drinking alcohol. And how that's kind of messed up. Like it should just be
one
like
of those things where if people don't know that you have a health condition, they might not be supportive, and then once they find out that there's a health condition, they're like, your doctor said you should. Okay, yeah.
Where it's just like you could just say, yeah, I don't drink alcohol, and the answer should be like, oh, okay, do you want something else? It shouldn't be this judgmental thing. But for her, it very much was, until she started saying she was an alcoholic. And then people were very quick to accept her, but they were also quick to make sure they compared themselves to her to prove that they were alcoholics. And that's also an issue because no one's story is the same.
Right.
And also it's pretty demeaning when you're admitting you have a problem to have other people say, I get it, but I don't have a problem. Like it's just be supportive of like their journey. And like, I'm really glad you found peace with that. And then just don't talk about alcohol, because guess what? An alcoholic has way more to their personality than just alcohol. Like if they want to talk about it, but don't force it. Yeah, but that's my 2 cents on that. And
I'll be interested to see how that goes. I added it to my TBR when I saw that you put it on Goodreads. So I'm curious about it.
I will say I think it's one of the better ones on women and not drinking. I've heard some other ones are a little bit more judgy, and I like her take on it, which is about like, this is like, make sure you're making healthy decisions in life and like focus on the drug, not the drug user. Like let's fix the way we use this drug. So overall I like it, but I'm very sensitive towards this topic. So I feel very sensitive about my read through on it.
But I think it's one of those things too that like I specifically asked about the culture because I am kind of used to a culture in my area where alcohol is every event that you would go to, and what people do for fun on weekends is go to the bar and drink, or go to someone's cabin and drink, or there's basically all activities revolve around drinking. And if you go to something and you are not drinking and I don't drink very much, but I mean, even if you don't have a drink at something, people will be like, oh, do you want something? If you say no, then like, why are you sure, here, just have something, and it's kind of like, okay, why is it so important to you and making you so uncomfortable that I don't have a beer or any kind of drink? And
well, and it
so
goes
I was
back,
just kind of curious about the culture aspect of it.
well, and that goes back to her saying like people were uncomfortable when I first stopped drinking because there wasn't a reason for it. I just said like, oh, I'm a non-drinker now, and people couldn't handle that. And even like I've gone through very long bouts of sobriety, and I've had people react when I tell them like, oh yeah, I'll have a beer. Like I've had a couple people react with like, oh, thank God you're drinking again. And all I could think is that's the worst thing you could have said to me. Like I don't want to be
that mean
judged on my choices, but like to say like, oh, thank God. It's just like this thing where it's like, oh, thank God I can feel comfortable now. And it's like, why were you uncomfortable
it's not
in the
about
first
you.
place? Yeah. Like
it's not about you.
I was fine with not drinking if you were drinking. Cause like, I don't think what you're saying is like, if you go out to a cabin where people are drinking, you're not saying like no one should be drinking here.
It's when I go to a wedding and I choose not to drink, it's not me being like, okay, I'm here. Everyone put down your glass.
Right.
That's not what I mean. I'm just saying I don't want to have alcohol. Like I would rather have water. So
So it's everyone's business, and just do what is healthiest for you. That's always what I espouse to. You should always make sure that you are healthy with yourself and treating yourself correctly just as much as you're treating everyone else correctly.
Right.
So that is that. And then I'm still watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and my favorite quote of recent watch is Jake is telling Holt about a loophole, and he's like, it's like when I went to the pancake place and they said, oh, you can eat pancakes, but they didn't put a time limit on it. So I was able to eat pancakes for 5 days. All I had to do was sleep there and not shower. And Scully in the background goes, how could you, Jake, without me? And they keep talking, and then it cuts over to Scully at the end of it, and he goes, you just think you know someone. So upset. So I'm watching
those
that.
Two are great.
I know. I also love that, like, there was also an episode where Hitchcock had to be interviewed and they had to teach him what to say, and he was like, guys, you need to teach me because I'm disgusting. And I was like, the fact that they're so open with like
the fact that they're
knowing
their jobs and
yes.
Oh
well, and then like Rosa comes out as bisexual, and she's like, okay, is that everyone's questions? And he goes, I have one more. And she goes, I will be, or she goes, I have time for one more question. And he goes, I have one. And she goes, we will not be talking further on this subject. And he goes, good call. It was disgusting.
Oh.
Like, it's just like, oh God. But because I want to tell people about any other show, I recommend people watch High Fidelity on Hulu, the new one. Okay. It was a retelling of the John Cusack movie where kind of he has like a horrible breakup, so he tries to relive his past relationships, and it's told through a woman, Zoe Kravitz, and or is it Zoe or is it, I can never remember which one's which. Yeah, Zoe Kravitz. It's told as Zoe Kravitz as the main character, and like her former boyfriend comes back from London. She's still kind of hung up on him, and it's just like going through her past relationships, and it's so freaking good, guys. Like this is such a good TV show. It's very Hannah, like very kind of artsy, very into itself. I will admit that I am very much into that kind of cinema, but I really enjoyed it. And she loves music. I love music. Laura knows this about me. So it's just very good, and I recommend it. And I like the writer of those, like the book that it's based on. So highly recommend. That's my new show. And then just gonna keep trucking through Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I started a new show, Hannah.
What is it?
It's new to me. Downton Abbey.
Oh yes, you told me you were like being so in love with Matthew?
Crawley, Lord Matthew Crawley.
He's a dreamy man.
He is.
I do like that you hate the two sisters, because I also hate them.
You know what? If anybody likes those sisters, I don't understand, because in my mind, from what I have seen, they are both the worst character.
Okay, but you're also in season 1. Like
2. Season 2.
You're in season 2. Yeah, but you're still in season 2. Like, again, sometimes you get a little bit of Stockholm
hopefully they
syndrome.
have some character growth, but
yes,
as of yet, they're both bad.
I never finished it.
But you know what? Just bad to each other mostly.
Yeah, they're terrible to each other. Yeah. I never finished it. Like I watched a big portion of it. My mom used to buy it from overseas so she could watch it before it came out on PBS. So I watched a lot of them that way, and then I just kind of gave up on it, and I just never went back to it. And then I just read what happened to some of them, and I was like, okay, now I know.
I know some spoilers, but even with some shows, even if you know the spoilers, it's still kind of fun to watch it play out.
Oh yeah.
So, and this is one of those shows, and there's just, it's very dramatic. There's a lot of things that happen to the members of Dune.
I mean, that's kind of a whole PBS show. They just walk around being British until something dramatic happens. That's all you're watching.
There's a lot of drama though.
There's a lot of drama.
So, because in some of the episodes, I'm like, oh wow, lots of things are happening. Okay, cool. But
I also started Disney Plus What If series, which is a cartoon.
Animated one.
Yeah. What if Captain Carter became was the first Avenger instead of Captain America as the first episode. And that was very good. I enjoyed it very much. Love me some cartoons. I grew up on X-Men cartoons, so it was great. Yeah. Okay. Should we get into it?
Let's do it.
All right. Who do we want to start with?
Let's talk about Nynaeve.
Okay.
I thought this was a good book for her, honestly.
I thought so too.
I mean, I don't have any major critiques of her. She has some really cool things happen.
I mean, she heals. She figures out to do.
She cures, or I guess not cures, but she heals Logain from stilling or being, stilled, right? Is that what it's called in men? I can't even remember now.
It's stilled for both of them.
It's stilled for both of them? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then she also heals the Annie and Suyan. And I think that's really impressive. I think she has had kind of a character beat down.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it was kind of cool to see her still be able to have some of her powers showing through and to have some wins, especially when she had a lot of bad
losses.
Yeah, losses.
Yeah.
So that was good.
I agree. I think that she had some wins. I mean, I have critiques of her because I always do.
Yeah. What's up?
Just her running around being like, we need to leave now. We need to leave Elaine. And she doesn't get, I feel like she doesn't get that they're in a war. She thinks that they're just in their own personal battle.
Yeah, she definitely is within her own bubble.
Yeah. And she keeps missing the forest for the trees. And I'm like, just be smarter. You can do it. I have faith in you. Just stop working against everyone. And but again, that is her purpose. Like you always said,
that's her thing though, is to work against.
I know. But I mean, it's just sometimes it just, again, I think if Robert Jordan repeated himself less, it would be less annoying.
Yes.
But the fact that every chapter was like, we need to leave. If only I could convince Elaine that we need to leave.
So many characters.
And it's just at some point I'm like, okay, I know you want to go. So just why don't you go? Why don't you go? If you want to go that badly and you think you're in the right, then go be in the right. You can do it. I have every faith in you. And it's the repetitiveness that bothers me. So that's it's Robert Jordan's flaw. We talk about it every week. Most of the stuff we dislike in the character are Robert Jordan writing techniques that just grate on you. So I get that she's supposed to be working against the plot. I can even see her being like, we need to leave. But also at some point, it's just like, okay, Elaine's telling you something and have enough respect for her after spending the last year together to know that she also knows what she's talking about. And then you guys wouldn't have to backstab each other so often. Where at some point she finds out that Elaine told Brigitte that tell Uno we're not allowed to leave. And she's just like, why would you do that? And it's because she doesn't trust you either. Right. And you guys don't trust each other to communicate. And if you guys just communicated, maybe you would understand where the other person was coming from. It opens a good dialogue. So those are the points where I was like, but you're right. I thought Nynaeve was beaten down. I really liked Nynaeve in the last novel. She was fine in this novel. I wouldn't say she was a stellar standout character for me, but she's not I wouldn't say she's a
standout character, but I would say that she had some standout moments as far as things that happened within the plot. So,
you know what I think I'm going to be sad about we're gearing up to have Lan come around her. And I am going to be a little bit sad if
it's going to take away from her a little bit.
If it's just going to be about their romance. And while their romance is fine, it's not the best parts of Nynaeve. The best parts of Nynaeve are her character growth. And I think for you and I, romance is more of a plot thing, because especially the way Robert Jordan, because like there's a way to write romance where you're learning together and learning to open up and become vulnerable together.
Yes.
I don't think that that's going to be Robert Jordan's take on
there
this.
will be some spanking, some lap sitting, some giggling, hair
some
twirling,
discussions about like having babies, having his babies.
Like, can't wait until we can have a litter, like,
a litter.
That's kind of the direction I see that all going. But
if there's a moment where she says a litter, I'm gonna die and just text you with so many like crying, laughing emojis.
I don't predict that occurring because Robert Jordan is a little more eloquent than I am.
That's fair.
But I don't think that he is able to write a very good romance.
No, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. So yeah, overall, I think Nynaeve is doing well. She's trucking along, and I'm sad when it turns into just the her and Lan show instead of the Nynaeve show, because she's a capable character on her own. And I also feel like Robert Jordan doesn't always know how to best serve Nynaeve. Like he has so many great straws, but they're not well woven together, I guess is the best thing, into a braid that she could have tucked on.
Oh God. Oh, wow.
It was right there.
It was there. Yeah, I think that Nynaeve has a lot of potential and could have, especially now that we're turning a corner with her where she's actually having a little growth in terms of her personality and how she interacts with others. And it's unfortunate that it seems like that will be thrown away just to put her in a relationship and make her all about Lan. So that's the sad thing.
That is the very sad thing.
How did you feel about Elaine, Nynaeve's BFF?
I still don't care about Elaine. I just don't. Okay, so, but I have a theory on this now. I actually can communicate.
This is why I wanted to hear this.
Okay, because I don't think I've told you the theory.
No, you told me to wait.
Yeah, I told you to wait. So here's my theory on why I don't care about Elaine. I also think it's Robert Jordan's fault. Okay.
I mean,
it's always Jordan's fault. So I think Elaine, we are told she is a capable diplomatic character who can assert herself into a situation and get what she wants out of it. But how it comes across in the way Jordan writes about it is it's just a bunch of people surrounding Elaine, protecting her like she's a pretty, pretty princess and coddling her in a way. Like Brigitte does it, Uno does it, Tom does it, Nynaeve does it. So from everyone else's perspective, Elaine is someone who needs to be taken care of, not someone who's convincing people to do something for her. And I think that's why she grates on me and why I don't care about her, because nothing has convinced me that she is the person that Jordan tells me she is.
I agree with that completely.
Okay.
I read this novel especially as being the popular sorority girl whose friends take care of everything for her, and she never really has to do anything because everyone's like, oh, she's so good at this and she's so good at that, and it's like, is she? We haven't seen it. So that's exactly what you said.
Yes, he's just not capable of writing the character that's kind of like low-key diplomatic. It just like it comes off as manipulative, especially when she's around Matt and she's like, can I see that pretty little,
or Tom,
or and like it's just like, because she tries to convince Matt to give her the fox head medallion, and instead of like talking to him and being diplomatic about it,
she tries to flirt it away from him.
Could you like just let me see it for just a little bit? And then she gets mad at him when he doesn't give it to her and stomps away. And it's like, that's not what that character's supposed to do in that situation. Right. That's what Nynaeve or like Egwene mixed together would do, because Nynaeve would never try to flirt, but like
she would just hit him.
Yeah, she would just box his ears, but like, and I could see Egwene trying to like half-heartedly flirt and then be like, whatever, but not what we're told Elaine is supposed to be. Elaine is supposed to be a diplomatic queen, and you're not showing us that. So stop telling us that she's that and show me, because if you're telling me that, I don't care. Like, I don't care about
Mm-hmm.
her. And that's why I still have zero opinion on Elaine, because honestly, I don't think her personality matches what we're supposed to think her personality is.
I think you're being kind when you say you have zero opinion. I am not that kind because I did not like her in this book. I was just very annoyed with her overall. And especially when she would get on rants, and I just, the whole "he will be mine" thing is,
Well, that's gross.
it's so frustrating, and I don't like that. I don't like her literally stressing herself out over Avienda Min being in
I
a
mean, also,
relationship with them. Like, I
she is
just
17 in her defense. Like,
I
that's a 17-year-old
that's
girl who finds out
fair.
she's going to have to share a boyfriend. Could you imagine being 17 and finding out, like, we all have to share him? Also, I had sex with him, and like, you believe in like one partner where you wait for marriage and then you find out you have to share him with two
At
other
this
women.
point, are they like definitely tied to him though, or is it just like she wants to be with him? You know what I
She
mean?
wants to be with him, but people have also, like, I mean, they've made out a couple of
It's
times. So
it's
that
not
for
like
her,
it's not like she's stuck with him though at this point, is it? Like it's like you're destined to be together, you will be together. I mean,
but
Min had
that's
a
the
Min had
other
a
problem.
viewing, but it's not like Elaine couldn't, be like, I choose my own fate and I want to be with somebody else. She's
Except they
literally
say men's
choosing
viewings.
this
I mean, men's viewings always come true. So that's all she knows.
thus far.
That's far. That's fair to say too. Like, but I do think part of her, I mean, she wants this, if we're believing everything Elaine's telling us, she wants to be with this man. She can't let him go. And she would rather share him than not have him at all at this point.
Yeah. I just have a hard time with it because I feel that they just don't have much of a relationship, and I just feel like it's hard to grasp why she is so attached to him.
I mean, because Robert Jordan is telling us she's attached. That's the problem
Yeah,
with Elaine. Robert Jordan tells us everything we're supposed to think about Elaine, and that's it.
and it's just very annoying to me to hear her be like, well, I must be with him. I will make him my warder. And like, please stop. Please don't. No.
I guess I give her I mean, I don't like I'm going to make him my porter, whether he wants it or not. That's really gross. And don't do that. But her being obsessed with him, I don't know. It's a high school girl crush. Like, I've crushed on a man too hard in college who I deeply regret liking that much. But like, I was a child,
Yeah. I guess it's just very annoying to me. And I feel like you have probably lots of people are annoyed by her as well.
Lots of people like her though.
So. No, I know lots of people like her. I think that it's probably what you're saying though, that the 17-year-old aspect of it is grating to me. So
I could definitely,
there's just a lot of immaturity.
Yeah, I do think, and that's the problem. Robert Jordan is often telling us she's so mature, and then what you're seeing is a high school girl who has a crush on a boy. Yeah. So again, I think that it's Robert Jordan's fault. But that was my theory. I'm glad you agreed with me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I think I have less of a reaction to Elaine than you, just because I don't care. Like, I think you have a stronger dislike, where I don't like certain things she does, but I have no opinion on her as a character. I have opinions on the plot points. Like, I'm not reading any deeper into her because I haven't picked up on her yet. And so since I haven't picked up on her, she's just someone who's affecting the
because, plot. In the last book, I didn't mind her too much. So yeah. I really flip-flop on her, where I'll go from like, okay, she's really annoying me in this book, to the next book being like, okay, I'm not minding her too much, but this book, she annoyed me more.
Okay, that's fair. So we should just keep an Elaine check-in with Laura. Book 1, yes or no?
Book 1, that was a no.
I don't think she comes back until like what? Or no, she is in 3, book 2. Right? Or no, she was in book 2, because remember, like, Egwene gets captured and she has to save her.
Gosh, yes, that was definite no.
What about book 3?
Do I remember book 3? That might have been okay. I can't really remember that one too much. We'll have to go back and re-listen to our episodes, because I can't, unless that was the annoying friendship trio. Whatever
that was. Well, that was number 2 and 3.
So she's still a no. Just on that. But I didn't like any of those girls for that matter.
Yeah, that's true. Because book
that
3,
annoying
I also
trio.
think. Yeah,
but I think 4 and 5, I didn't have as much of an issue with her.
Okay, so far we're 4 no's and 2 fine.
Yeah.
And Hannah's kind of just been fine with Elaine, like, or Hannah just doesn't care about Elaine. 6 books.
Hannah is much nicer than Laura.
Not always. Just to Elaine. Okay, what about? Do you want to go like down the Rand tree?
Let's talk about Min while we're here. I think I had high hopes for things that would happen with Min, and I don't know that it's anyone's fault but Robert Jordan's that this is happening to her character, and it's probably just me wishing things would happen and they're just not, and I just don't enjoy the whole I'm gonna giggle and sit on his lap type thing that's happening with that. I don't enjoy that.
Okay. Again, Hannah can't explain this opinion. I can't. I don't mind Min. Again, I hate all the plot points you're saying, but her as a character, I'm still kind of into. And it's not that I expect, again, because last time we talked about
I think my expectations are too high for her.
Yes.
And that's what's making me upset about Min, is that I had such high expectations, and it's just like, he's not meeting my expectations. I need to be like, Laura, don't expect so much from him.
Yes, I think that's what that is. Because I don't mind her. Like, again, I hate everything. I hate the sitting on the lap. I hate the like, but in this book, I do appreciate the like, I don't believe in the term friend zone, guys. I think that that's a stupid term. People are allowed to not be attracted to you. But like, Rand is treating her like a bro, kind of like she comes in and he's like, oh my God, it's so good to see you. And then he's like talking to her about 2 women. And I like that. I hate that she got like angry because like she has no right to be angry at him. He doesn't know she likes him. But the fact that she was upfront with like, hey, don't talk about other women in front of me. I'm like, that's a boundary. Like, at least she vocalized it and didn't stomp her way out of the room. You know, like she talked to him. That's new for people who like Rand. And I think I get the Min and Rand relationship more than the other 2 at this moment, because they like, there are different reasons each of the 3 love interests work for me. Elaine, because they're kind of on the same trajectory of like power, so it's just like whatever, marry each other. Avienda, because they talk the most,
because they
talk to each other,
have a relationship.
Yes. And Min and Rand, because they actually like each other. Like, Elaine spends most of her time so fucking annoyed with Rand. It's unreal. And Avienda fucking wants to throw him out of a window. But Min and Rand actually like hanging out together and talking and enjoying each other's company. And it's like, oh yeah, it's not just about the sex with them. They're having like a communicative relationship where they want to spend time together. Isn't that new and novel for this book series? Like,
yes.
So I think that I just noticed that like, oh, you 2 actually like each other. Why don't you 2 just end up together? Like, if you like each other, have the healthiest relationship. If you can't do anything else, just like, you seem healthy together, go be happy in some backwoods. I don't care.
Sure.
Because no one else in this book series yet likes each other. Like, Nynaeve and Lan, yes, but you're told they like each other. You don't see them talking. You just know he knows her favorite color, you know? But like, Min and Rand, every time they hang out, it's just like Rand was excited to see her. They enjoyed spending time together. He didn't get why she was sitting on his lap. That was the one stupid
I think
part.
that you saying though that they treat each other like bros is extremely accurate, because it's like, even earlier when this is in another book, wherever she like lays down next to him or whatever when he had been hurt. It was just at the end of the Great Hunt.
Oh, that was the grand.
And he like wakes up and he's like, oh, hey man, yeah, like, what's up? And she's like, I'm in love with you, in her head. And she's like, he's always kind of just like treated her like, oh yeah, what up? We're cool.
Yeah.
And
so I don't get that part of it, because it's just like, but I do appreciate that she talked to him about it. I hate their relationship just as much as I hate the other ones. It's annoying. She obviously likes you. She sits on your fucking lap. Just like, admit it to yourself. She likes you. She's just that into you. Okay. Like, I hate those parts of it, but I don't mind Min as a character. Like, I hated her in the plot. but I don't mind her personality. I guess that's like, I keep hating
her personality is fine.
Yeah.
I think though it's just Rand.
It's just
ruins other
Rand
characters.
ruins women. Rand ruins women. It's just how it is. Cause it's just like, I don't enjoy her like being with the Aes Sedai, like being like, I have to get to Rand to warn him, run till I get there. And then like, oh no, I've been taken with Rand and then he killed people for me. It's just like, oh God, or like, I'm going to bury my head in his hair. It's just so frustrating. But her personality works for me just because like, and you learn about her backstory. Like she always wore pants. Her dad died when she was younger. She has been part of the working class. She has had sexual partners before and come out of it without like any guilt or anything, and she lives in a world where that's not expected. All of those for me as a character. Her purpose in the plot fucking sucks.
She's there just to be
she's a love interest,
a friendly woman for Rand.
Yeah. Someone who actually likes Rand. So, but again, their relationship would probably be the healthiest of the three, but
my hopes were too high.
I do think your hopes were a little too high for men, but we weren't aware of that in Robert Jordan's book. It was the first book. We were younger then.
Yes.
It was March.
Seems like so long ago.
All right. Well, then do we want to move on to Aviendha? Do we have much to say about her? She's not useful in this plot.
About her. I don't know that much has changed with her, really.
Nothing has changed with her.
Still so dedicated to Elaine. What else is there to say? But
she doesn't really do. I do like that, like, there again, Robert Jordan has something. He doesn't always use it, but he has some things where like that one kid, Oliver, like hates her because the Shido killed his family. And you can kind of see the wheels turning in her head of like, doesn't he understand the different, like, because she comes from a world.
She does have a thing about her where, not a thing, where she does help throughout the books to explain different cultural aspects to different characters so that they understand more about the Aiel. But
also she's also the first person who starts trying to look at the other culture and becomes interested in how they view things. Because all the other Aiel, they're very much, I mean, they're low key, like the quote unquote, like savage role, unfortunately. And like, that's a role that's terrible and should be handled more deftly than most people do. I will like preface it with that. But their view, what Robert Jordan tells us their view is if you are a tree dweller, you deserve to die. We don't care about your life. We do not care about your survival. This is war against us, and it's us against you. But what she saw through Oliver is like, no, that's a child and his parents were killed. And now there is this hatred towards me that I can't do anything with, even if it wasn't my clan who did this harm.
Right.
I recognize that it's happening in the world. And that shows like, we don't see Aviendha think this. It's just Matt watching Aviendha. So I'm imputing thoughts into her, but that's what we have to do with women in this book series. So I do think that there's growth in her character in this book. It's a little bit more understated than most of the other people's, because she asks Matt a couple of times about that situation. And I think the wheels are turning in her head. And like, she is the one talking to Egwene about their culture much more. She is the one who's being exposed to it. And I think at the beginning, she didn't care about their reviews other than how it affected like her relationship with Rand, how she could use it to convince Rand to be more appreciative of Aiel culture.
Right.
And in this book, it feels like she's starting to realize that like, oh, maybe I should be listening for other reasons.
Sure.
And I hope that's true. But also maybe I'm giving Jordan too much credit. That can also be very true, knowing our past with this.
I think that, again, you are being very kind and you're giving him a lot of credit for his writing. But yes, I can definitely see if that's the take that someone got from that. I think that maybe it's a much more watered down version of that.
Right. Yes.
But
I don't. Yeah.
I really like that take.
I think it's a good take to have because we don't get much with her. So we will use that as a great in-depth analysis of this text.
Sure.
And maybe people only realize it on a reread that it's because it's that watered down. But yeah, let us know, guys, if you agree. But other than that, anything else on Avienda? I mean, she's just, if angry was a personality.
Yeah, she's very upset with herself, with Rand, with her circumstances. So yeah.
And I just hate, like, you can't tell someone they have toe. You have toe against me. You can't, you're breaking your own rules. You can't, you just told me you can't do that. Like, okay, then do we want to talk about Egwene?
Yep.
And the most rush plot line goes to for $1,000.
She was not done justice.
She was done so dirty in this novel. Like, she got the sucky love interest. She got the rush plot line. She got no personal growth whatsoever to her character.
I really liked Egwene, and it was just kind of frustrating as a reader to find out, wait, what? She's become the Amyrlin already? Like, there was no build up at all. It doesn't necessarily make sense, and I just wish that there would have been more time, more of a progression, more learning, more political background, more networking with the other Aes Sedai to
more have of a reason
become the Amyrlin. It didn't make sense, and I hated that for her character. That, you know, I think we had hopes after seeing her go through the 3 arches that, oh, you know, this will be a really cool thing. She'll become the Amyrlin seat, and we had hoped that there would be more of a journey, and there was no journey at all.
There was no journey whatsoever. It did not matter. She was only made Amyrlin seat based on her attachments to Rand. She didn't deserve it. She should have been able to deserve it because she's a great character and she could have, but you didn't give her that opportunity. It became a rush plot line where Robert Jordan was like, yeah, I want it to happen, so I guess it's happening now. She doesn't get to become an Aes Sedai. She's not an Aes Sedai yet. She's just the Amyrlin seat. Like, well, she's technically raised, but they had to break rules to do it. So many loopholes. I didn't enjoy any of this. I just felt like she was done so dirty, and none of her plot line made sense. Like, she was all of a sudden in love with Gawain. She all of a sudden had Gawain.
With that, it was just like, okay, it went from her being unsure if she even knew who Gawain was.
Do I know his name? What?
And being in love with his brother to suddenly, I love Gawain. And it was like, you do? Oh.
But why?
Just because he loves her. That's the only thing that I can piece together from that. Well, is that
literally the only reason why.
Her, she was like, oh, he loves me, so I must love back. And I just hate that. And I almost wish that there was just more tension, uncertainty surrounding the 2 brothers and her, like her having to choose between them. And it would have been much better if she had to choose between the 2 of them, and, you know, she can't decide because one's the charming Nazi and the other one is like someone that she that's very hard to say, people. But
charming Nazi. What a book trope, guys.
He kind of is a Nazi, but
no, he's a Nazi. He's a Nazi, guys. He's definitely just a fascist. You know, it happens.
If it were something where she had to choose between like this guy that she doesn't really know that much about, but that is charming, and then she kind of learns to love Gawain through getting to know him, that would have been so much better. Instead, it was just like she creepily got into one of his dreams, and she was like,
oh, he wants to have sex with me? I guess we're gonna go to Bone Zone. Like,
okay, it's happening. Like come on.
It's so dumb and terrible.
Why?
And I don't know, Laura. It's frustrating. Poor Egwene. She's such a great character, and Robert Jordan has showed me that he does not care for her as much as I do.
It was just very disappointing the way that this character had to go through all of this.
Agreed. Like, it sucks. This sucks. There's nothing we can really say about her character because Egwene is still the same person as she was in the last book. She just all of a sudden decided she wants to have sex with Gawain. Like, that's the only difference. I mean, I guess I will say she has shown that she's learned a lot. She has shown that she is going to make decisions on her own and not be controlled by the Aes Sedai.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that we realized that in this book that she has more of a backbone than people are giving her credit for. And that some of the other Aes Sedai maybe thought that she would be a pushover, and they're learning, oh, wait, that's not going to happen, that she actually has her own principles, her own morals, and we can't push her around. So that's good. However, why did we have to rush all of this?
Also, why did they think she was going to be like that? They don't know anything about this.
They don't know anything about her. So why would they choose her? Like that, it just doesn't make any sense. She's been off with the wise ones. These other Aes Sedai choose her for what reason on earth besides her connection to Rand? It makes zero sense. She has spent no time with them.
There's no reason for this. It was a bad plot and we didn't like it. So good on her for being a powerful person with a backbone, which we already knew. Good on her for being, I think she has shown herself to be a little bit more manipulative because like, she was like, she hated the Adam that controlled people, but then she started doing it with Mogadine without a thought.
Right.
And so I do think we found out that I want to say Egwene is maybe corruptible. Like, we don't know, but
I mean, I doubt it, but I could see maybe.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. I just think that we've seen a little bit of a different side of her where she is more willing to do what needs to be done. Because she has always appreciated the Aes Sedai more so than any other person. And Aes Sedai, we are learning, are manipulative.
Sure.
And I think that she has taken to that. Like, she was
Rand doesn't trust her anymore. So
no. So the reason they picked her is moot at this point. But, you know, I guess whatever. But I do think she's more manipulative. We'll have to see where it goes. I'm interested. You know, we just don't know anymore. I don't know about you, girl. You're my favorite. Please don't let me down. I think she's gonna let me down.
She is gonna let you down.
I know. I have a feeling.
Or should I say Robert Jordan will let you down?
Yeah, it's all Robert Jordan's fault.
Have you ever seen that meme where it's like, I want my people that worked on group projects with me to lower me into my grave so they can let me down.
Let me down one more time.
This is what we're dealing with.
Did you see the meme about how COVID is like the worst group project we've ever had in our lives? Like, sadness. Agreed. Okay, who do we want to talk about next?
There's Fael.
Can we not?
She's still bad.
She is the toxic wife that no one should ever have married. Like, she's so toxic. Let me victim blame my husband for a woman who's trying to hunt him down and molest him.
That she is so unfair, and she never listens to him. She never tries to see his side. It's just incredibly unfair, and they have a horrible relationship. I just hate it.
Agreed. They have a terrible relationship.
Their communication is awful. She will not listen to him.
It's so bad. It's so bad, guys. Just like the way she just gets mad at him. And then when Perrin screams at a woman, she's like, well, now I'm proud to be your wife. It's just like, what?
Like, why does that make you proud?
Also, when has he ever gave you any indication that he's going to do something with this woman? Like, right. Every indication shows that he's freaking obsessed with you. And like, you're not satisfied with that. It's gross. I just hate Fael. She's the worst.
Really bad.
Well, they try to be like, this is just what her people do. Her mom and dad are just as bad as she is. Okay, don't marry into the family.
Yeah.
Don't marry those people. You don't need them in your life. Let Rand love his what's his name? Barrowline. Thank you. Let Rand be BFFs with him. You don't have to be. Get away from this family.
Oh, you mean Bashir?
Bashir.
I thought you were talking about Barrowline.
No.
Bashir.
Yeah. Just like have them get away from this family. I don't want Perrin there. I want Perrin single for a while and to find someone new. He should have let them make them get divorced. He would not have been in that situation.
Poor Perrin.
Sometimes love isn't enough, people. Love is not a reason to stay with a toxic person. I'm just going to say that out loud.
Their relationship is just very
it's
awful.
Bad.
And I don't even think that I can really defend Perrin too much either, because he's done some bad things as far as his treatment of Fail has not always been great either.
Right.
So it's hard to just be like, well, they love each other. And because you don't really see a lot of that. It's just,
again,
a lot
Jordan
of
tells
fighting,
you they love each other.
A lot of poor communication. Oh, it's bad.
It's bad. I don't like it. They're not good together, guys. They should break up. That's our take.
Let's segue into the
Foo
other
Foo.
bad one, Barrelane.
Oh, also, someone does, again, Twitter. There is now a hashtag called Foo Foo Forever, and it's like Foo Foo for never.
I mean,
no, thank you.
Who likes her?
Nobody does. It's a joke.
I meant that people wanted her forever. I'm like, my gosh.
I think they want us talking about her forever because you and I are pretty.
We're trying to cut this off as quickly as possible. If you have not noticed,
I asked if we didn't have to talk about her. So
right, we'd prefer to skip.
God. Okay, so Barrelane. What did you think about Barrelane?
Did not enjoy any of her interactions with Perrin because she is horrible.
She was
hate
terrible
that she's trying to treat him as a prize that she can win him, and she will coerce him into being with her. I hate that. It's terrible and nasty. She thinks it's hilarious that Fail is uncomfortable and mad about it, and so that makes her go after him even harder. And it's just nasty that she's like this, that she's putting him in such a uncomfortable situation that he feels bad, that it's making his relationship bad. I hate everything about that.
Right. Agree. And outside that context, there's nothing to say about Barrelane. Like,
outside of it, she's doing okay as far as being one of Rand's diplomats. I mean,
yeah, she's doing a job.
She's fine.
I do think it's interesting. Like, you could say, again,
if she was removed from the Perrin and Fail situation, that would be a fine character.
Right. I will say there is so I was a women's English major where I studied lots of feminine literature, and we talked about Pride and Prejudice. We talked about Caroline Bingley, because a lot of people rag on Caroline Bingley as a character because she is nasty and she's a mean girl. But if you also look at it from the social context of the day, like, she's supposed to be around Lizzie's age. She is also unmarried. She is also pressured to find a husband, and that is her only worth. She runs her brother's household. That's the only reason she's worthwhile. And her brother's looking for a wife. So she is about to be useless. Booted. And so her attachment to Darcy is actually kind of sympathetic if you think about it in the context of how women's society, like their roles in society at that time period, were used.
Yeah, because he's her last hope at being relevant.
Right. So Barrelane kind of gives me Caroline Bingley vibes. Like, she's really going after Rand. She's really going after Perrin. And like, the Perrin stuff is gross because he has a wife. So just like back off. But she is trying to use her body in a way to give her power, to give her some kind of standing, because she might be the diplomat there. But Rand is also very open about the fact that it's like, yeah, but you're not going to be the permanent one. Like, you're just here while I need you.
She's a placeholder.
She is a placeholder, and I don't think her role in society is established. So I do feel a little bit of sympathy towards Barrelane outside of the Perrin stuff, because the Perrin stuff is gross. Sure. He's married, leave him alone. But like, I do feel like she's using her body to try to get ahead, which I think is also why the Aiel women like her, because they like that she knows what she's doing and she's capable, and she's not, she's playing games, but she's playing the right games in their mind,
Okay.
that was kind of my reading on her, but I think that that's also a very specific reading that many people could disagree with.
Yeah, you're getting very in depth. I really like it.
My English major came out with the women this year or this week. It's to make up for my vocal fry tired voice of last week.
That's fine.
But yeah, that was kind of my thought on her. I just really got those vibes. I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about Verlaine?
I don't. I just
okay. I'm glad you covered
half of her character.
No, I'm glad you covered that stuff because you left it open for me to talk about the more nerdy side of things. So I appreciate your take on it, and I agree with your take on it. I don't like the Perrin and her of it all. I think that's really nasty and not okay.
Right.
That said, I do think she's an interesting character who's going to marry a fascist because it's a white cloak.
Galad?
I mean, we'll see. Who knows? He's the only white cloak we know who isn't an alcoholic and evil.
And you know what?
So
Egwene dropped him in a heartbeat. So
yeah, she did. So Verlaine, you can go
pick
him right back up. I'm available.
He's available.
All right. Who do we want to talk about next?
There is Suyan and Liani, who were cured.
And Suyan is also now in love with her master.
Gareth.
Yeah. Like she was like, all of a sudden she was like, I'm in love with him. And it's just like, no, you aren't.
But you
scream at each other.
You hated him.
That's how Robert Jordan shows love in these books, Laura. Don't you know that by now?
I'm concerned about him and Harriet. How do you think Harriet's doing?
Harriet.
His wife?
I don't know.
His wife.
I do not know. I wonder how she's doing. I hope she's okay.
I hope she's okay.
How old is she now?
I don't know, but if some of these relationships are modeled off theirs, I hope she's okay.
Me too. I'm sure she's fine. She's making a lot of money right now.
I guess money can cure all, but
up to a point. They do say money does make you happy, but only up to a certain point, and then your happiness like plateaus.
I hope she hasn't plateaued. I hope she's still happy, because I'm concerned if these relationships are modeled off of theirs.
I'm sure they had a very loving relationship. I mean, they were married
they were married a long time. They had a working relationship as well.
Yeah,
that is difficult.
They were born in the 30s. It was a different time. Like if you think about this, Robert Jordan wrote these in the 90s, and he probably was working on them before. Like it's probably pretty good of its time. We're also reading it from a 2021 context.
That's fair.
In defense of Robert Jordan, which I'm not sure we should, but
I don't want to. I don't want to defend him.
Fair enough. Okay, well, who are we talking about? Oh, Suyan, Liani. There's not much to say. They're healed. They're weaker than
They're weak. They're not totally healed, I guess.
Let's hope they are, because I'm sorry. This will be my rant. If Robert Jordan makes it so Nynaeve can completely heal men to their full potential and women are healed in a different way where it's a limited healing.
Hannah, this is
feminism. It's not feminism then.
This is not how feminism works.
You don't get to pick and choose.
Equality is when men have more than women, right?
But women have community, so it makes up for it. They can link their bond, so it makes it okay. It's so stupid to say you want equality and you're making women still experience trauma through the fact that they now have the source, but they're now still pretty powerless. Like you're still making them
can
suffer.
Feel their dead warders.
They can. They're being
however, they
punished.
Yes.
And the men get nothing. Logan he gets to escape. He gets to go off with all of his powers and just be out in the world now, where these women still have to suffer through the politics and the practices of this stuff. And it's supposed to be this aren't women so great in a community when men just want to murder a bunch of people on the field? This is why it's
frustrating. If you've ever looked up the power rankings of the people in the Wheel of Time series, they have charts that will show you everyone who is the most powerful, and it's all the men, even the weakest man is more powerful than most of the women. It's
that's how it is.
What on earth? And why
you built a world where women were supposed to have power?
This is a story that, you know, gives women any kind of equality, because it doesn't. That's not really equal in my mind, but okay. 13 women are equal to one man. Whoa.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that. Sorry. We were done with talking about Stihan and Liani, but
that was my one rant on there.
We have less and less to say. I feel like we could do like a Varen / Alana. What do you have to say about either of them?
Sucky situation. I hate that. Alana is awful. Varen, dark friend. Yeah, Varen was oddly just like, I guess that happened. I can't believe. And I'm like, okay, you are terrible.
Varen is getting more and more suspicious as time. Like, this was the book
she's
where she was
just so
getting very
complacent
suspicious
with things happening that it's like,
but she was also like manipulating things where like the one person who was supposed to be in charge like was suddenly no longer in charge, and Varen was in charge of everything. And she was like,
I'm telling you, she showed up in the Great Hunt, and it was just like, why are you here? Nobody sent you. Why didn't anyone ask? She is a dark friend. I'm dying on this hill.
We will see. But I do not know.
Yeah, and then Alana, I don't really feel tons of sympathy for her being like sad over her dead warder, if it means she has to
traumatize another human
to get over it. Like, no.
Agreed. Is there anyone else we need to talk about?
Moraine, rest in power,
always and forever. Yeah, I think that's it, unless you want to talk about Mogadine, who's nothing. No, let's not talk about her. She sucks. She's the worst. She's a very, very evil person who's way too weak and too much of a like idiot. I don't know.
I feel like she's just kind of dumb. Is that a bad take?
No, she's dumb.
I don't know that there's much to say about her besides like this character will be gone in the next book. I'm guessing.
Probably. I don't know. I could see her sticking around for a while because like Robert Jordan likes to use her. So I don't know.
I just feel like there's some of these characters he brings in and then gets rid of quickly.
Morgase. Thoughts on Morgase?
Oh yeah, I forgot about Morgase. She is in love with someone else. It's her entire personality. That it's just like, who can she be in love with now? I guess Tom is taken now at this point. So
God.
He's in a relationship with Moraine. So that one's out. Who can we make her fall in love with? I know someone who will manipulate her. That's a dark friend. Okay, we'll get rid of him.
Do you think
who can we have her with? Some young guy. But it's just, I don't know. Her hiding out seems like that'll be kind of interesting conflict. Because I mean, exactly, that's what it is just setting up some kind of conflict, because then she'll appear and be like, haha, I need to reclaim my throne and get out of there, Elaine, because it's mine. And
Rand will be like, I was going to give it to you all along, and she's going to be like, no, I made a mistake, I trust the White Cloaks. It just doesn't matter.
It's literally just trying to set things up. So it's mildly interesting.
Mildly. Do we have any like more Aes Sedai we want to discuss? They were like the women who made, they all suck. They're all just so dumb. Okay. I think we're all set then. I agree with you on Morgase's front. She's just being used to effectuate the plot, so she has no personality of her own. Like,
her personality is falling in love with people.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I was powerful once, but now I'm just gonna fall in love with the next man who walks past me. Okay.
And she lets them basically dictate a lot of her decisions and coerce her into saying a bunch of different things and ruling her kingdom. So yeah.
All right. Well, with that said, we did not enjoy Lord of Chaos. Lots of people do, because I think it's a plot book. I made this point. I think Lord of Chaos is a very plot book, and I think you and I like to see character growth. So it's just seeing a bunch of plot things happen isn't really
and a bunch of
there
bad
for
things.
us. Yeah. and I really hate torture scenes. It's a very specific thing. Except I'm reading like a grimdark novel right now. I don't mind it as much in grimdark because I know what I'm expecting. I don't like it when it's suddenly just thrown in my face.
Sure.
Let me know, and it's handled in a different way.
Sure.
I don't know. We shall see. But next week we will be reading A Crown of Swords, the 7th book in Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series. We will be doing the first 20 chapters. It is 41 chapters in all, but there is a prologue. Sure, it is long. So
it is long.
Buckle up for that. And join us next week for the first in plots in a new book. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Rating, reviewing, and subscribing helps catch us and get us out to other new people who can join in on the conversation. You should also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at OurPod. That's OWWR Pod. You can also email us at ourpod@gmail.com or go to our website, which is ourpod.com. So we hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.